call instruction committee meeting to order. The first item is approval of the November 18th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Corrections or amendments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 2 is field trips. That's for your information. Any comments or questions on those? Item 3 is Rochester Middle School and Spalding High School Summer Professional Development. We have Justin Roy, Adam Houghton, and Kathy Cotton to present.
Even though it seems like a world ago, we're updating you on the summer PD. After a year and a half of really having a lot of work and a tough time, a lot of our teachers stepped up again last summer to prepare their students for this year. And among them we had district, we had elementary that presented in October, and middle and high school all had professional development opportunities. At the district level, we continued our work on work skills competencies, and we had elementary, middle, and high school teachers come together. We created rubrics for our collaboration, updated collaboration, and created new rubrics for communication, which are 2 of our 3 work skills competencies now. We also created teacher tools, and we posted these on the CIA site, so they're available to teachers. We're trying to build capacity throughout the year, and we'll be revisiting them again in the coming months. At the high school, we had a lot of work in Pathways and Freshman Lit. Their work was very similar. Pathways and Freshman Lit looked at creating learner profiles based on data that they had from previous years. These are students who are struggling academically and social emotionally, so this was really important work. They also looked at some of the holes that were created from the last year and a half, now 2 years. And then they looked, in Pathways, they really looked at advisories for this year to support these students. Science, they looked at integrating some of the earth science curriculum. We made some changes last year that they were working on, and then they were really looking at those students who had holes from the last couple of years too, and creating a recovery course, and then aligning their curriculum for bio with the new textbooks that they created. So lots of really good work there. Mr. Roy, any comments on that?
No, just that we really put a lot of work into the transition into the high school of the freshmen that were identified with the NEWA scores. We worked a lot with the 8th grade teachers identifying some of those at-risk students. So we actually had them do summer school at the high school, which was a huge benefit. That was Sandy's idea. It worked out really well. They were able to adjust to the high school a little faster. And then our Pathways program, they did a lot of work with advisories, so I think you covered it.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we'll have interim NEWA assessments in the coming month, which we'll be able to check back in on their plans for this. So good work. Mr. Houghton, for the middle school?
Yeah, I mean, we had the summer lost learning camp. That was part of what Mr. Roy said. We had the middle school piece with that. Trying to really shift that model to really focus on learning gaps as opposed to making up assignments, which I think was a big success for us. And it's still, I think there's still work to be done, but I think it was a really good logical next step, and I think it'll pay dividends with that. And students really did take to the model and really did well with that. So I think it'll be interesting to sort of see their growth because of that and sort of moving forward. And then we also had our ELA teachers meet for a day over the summer as well with the implementation of Amplify CKLA at the elementary schools. That took away Reading Street, which impacted our 6th grade because our 6th grade had previously been using Reading Street. So we've been sort of working over the past year to try and redo our English curriculum because the 6th grade had always been kind of an island. And then the 7th grade, 8th grade were a bit of an island from the high school. So trying to get sort of more continuity between us and the elementary schools as well as more with the high school as well. So in a nutshell, that's what we were up to.
Do you have any questions?
Questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And the next item is new Spalding High School courses.
Yeah, so we have 4 opportunities we'd like to present to you, and I have the team leaders here that will talk about each one. We've made slides, I'm assuming that's going to be right?
It is.
Yeah. And each new course has a slide, and then we can take questions whenever you want to ask them, I suppose. So we'll start with technical English.
So I'm going to present technical English. It was my background, and I, of course, work with the teachers on building this. But they want this course to be more embedded in CTE. We've been talking about this for a lot of years, but it would be open to all students at Spalding. Competencies would be the same as all other senior courses. We have a number of classes already that are options for senior credit. We have Shakespeare, we have media lit, we have film studies, and it's structured very similarly. With this course, they'll really look at integrating work-related communication, so the curriculum would embed that within it. You know, a lot of email communications or letters, writing, technical writing specifically, that each one of the CTE teachers would offer up as curriculum. And the class would be offered as a standard level with an option to contract up to enrich. The rigor would stay the same. There wouldn't be any change in that. The competencies would stay the same. It would just be targeting students with this need.
Yeah, and so what we're really, although it's open to any senior, what we're really targeting are those students going into the workforce. How do you appropriately write a business letter? How do you do a resume? How do you respond in email? How are you filling out work orders and purchase orders? There's curriculum out there for this, and right now we're currently looking at what other CTE centers are doing. But it would still fall right in line with our competencies that are already existing, so we're not really changing the competencies, we're teaching it in a different way, more geared toward students that are going into the workforce. So that's really what this is aimed for. I've been wanting to do this for years, and COVID sort of derailed this, so I feel like we're ready to really take the jump for next year.
Next, we have Ms. Colson.
So the PE department, we had a class that was called Sports Nutrition, which really was geared more for student athletes, and tried to work with them. The class hadn't run in the last year or two, couple years, because it wasn't going the way we had hoped. So we are looking at a class called Fit for Life, which would teach kids the healthy lifestyle that they can continue from the high school piece in a variety of different ways. So we have classes where we just teach sports or weightlifting or things like that. So this class would look more outside as far as like yoga, Pilates, some backyard games where pickleball, things like that that kids might be more interested in that aren't as competitive and aggressive as some of the other classes. It would be open to all grade levels, and we really feel like it would be more accessible to all of our students, especially those that really don't want to engage in a whole lot of physical activity. And the big piece would be trying to teach them about nutritious habits as well, and get them understanding what they buy at the grocery store as consumers could also help with a healthy lifestyle. We are switching just one competency. We worded it just a little bit different. Do I have to read that? Or it's there, so you guys...
No, we can.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping, I know you can all read, but this would be a half credit. It would remain the same, a half credit of PE towards their 1 credit for graduation.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I would add is that we're trying to provide more options for students that might not want a traditional phys ed class but need to learn how to be healthy. So really this is right in line with that.
And it wouldn't be any more, like, we wouldn't need any new teachers, we can rework our schedule, and funding would be through our PE
Is
budget.
there any physical aspect to this course?
Yes, yes,
There
so it will be a classroom-based as well as a physical activity-based, depending when we offer it and looking at the different classes and spacing that we have. But yes, definitely. Yes,
Did you say it was all grade levels?
it is all grade levels, yes.
I think it's going to be a popular course, and we'll end up offering several sections after we get it up and running.
I agree, I have a senior who wishes he had a nutrition component to his classes, so.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron?
Hi, I'm Ron Goodwin, I'm the Director of Music at Spalding. So we're proposing 2 new classes here. The first one actually is a different take on a class that ran over a decade ago, prior to my time here in the district. And it seems like the time is right to try bringing it back. So we have a number of students that, especially due to COVID, are increasingly deficient in certain instrumental skills in particular, and we have a number of students that have not made the transition from 8th grade up to high school because they spent an entire year without playing. And those that have, they're struggling. We're getting certain sections within our band especially that are diminishing. Our clarinet section in particular is having a really rough time right now. And so we're trying to find ways that we can help them, try to recapture some of the students that didn't make the transition, but because they were worried, they were too far behind. We want to try and get them caught up. So this instrumental lab class is really designed to do that. We wouldn't need any additional personnel. This is something I would do during D1 while chorus was being offered by the other 2 directors. Essentially, students would sign up. I would work one-on-one with them, try and get them some working towards new skill acquisition, some remedial work, and we would kind of rotate through. Say we had, 15 or 20 kids in there. A number of them are sitting in the study hall right now during D1 because they're not interested in chorus. There aren't a lot of D1 alternatives. This would give them a chance to go and learn something. Instrument switches, we're anticipating having to do a lot more of those to balance out our instrumentation. This would be a perfect place to address some of those things to get them started on a new instrument in particular. So it'd be really highly personalized depending on where they're at, and we would kind of get them going on a path, set them off to go practice in a corner of the room for 10 minutes while I move on to the next person, and so on and so forth. That's kind of the vision for that. Stagecraft is an idea that came to us from Tanya West, our new choral and theatrical director. She's got an extensive theater background, and she offered this class at Marshwood for a long time. This would dovetail really nicely with our pretty much acting-only classes that we have offered in the past, and it would give students a hands-on opportunity to actually design and construct a set that we would use in our spring musicals. Because of that, we're proposing it would be offered Q3 because that would line right up in that time frame. Not that we don't want our parents to still be involved, this would still go alongside what they're doing. They would also get other sort of theater adjacent opportunities to, like how to design an audition, how to make the space inviting for those coming into audition, different theatrical career paths that they could take other than acting or directing, how to go about designing costumes, obtaining props, those sorts of things. So it's a whole different element that has yet to be explored by students in an academic setting. So we're excited about that opportunity.
Questions or comments? Yep.
Just curious about the stage craft.
Yes.
Would you anticipate like a need for an increased budget to pay for materials?
So we talked about that. I think slightly, I think. We talked about the first year, if we were able to get an additional $1,500, we would need to get some startup tools, obviously, and then there's, of course, construction material like lumber and such. Since this would be used towards the musical, we would anticipate we would probably also be able to bring in some funding to help out with it as well, but we wouldn't want to rely solely on that. We want to make sure that we have guaranteed materials that the students could work with. So we thought 1,500 the first year, and then maybe half of that going forward afterwards, because, you know, theoretically we'll have the tools and such in place, so.
Anyone else? Yeah,
What space would they be doing the construction in?
It would be on the stage, actually, which is where we typically do the construction when parents are working there. It's really the only space that we do have to work in, the way everything is laid out at the time being. So we would obviously have to be conscious of making sure things got cleaned up and safed after each class to make sure that anyone else coming into that facility would be able to utilize it for what they need.
Okay, so they're gonna be basically building out on.
Right on, yeah, right on the
on-site
stage.
type of- Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
okay, thank everybody. Do you need a motion to approve these?
You've got one
We
more.
have one more.
Oh, one more, okay.
Yes, and Mary?
Hi, I'm Mary Eagle-Sizer and I teach science, obviously at Spalding High School. So I wanted to propose AP Chem. This came about because I've had several students over the past couple of years asking if we would offer AP Chem. It would be a year-long 2-credit course, so just like biology in that. Students can either take honors chemistry first and then AP Chemistry, so that's one pathway. However, another option is that instead they can complete a summer assignment before and then take it for the year. I think that that would help to minimize the impact over other course sections. What we're hoping is that right now we have a couple of sections of honors chemistry, and we're hoping that some of the students who take honors chemistry may elect to go directly into AP Chemistry. So in addition, AP Chemistry really pairs well on the pathway to taking any science or many sciences in college. And it also helps to back up AP Biology. So the idea would be that students take physical science as a freshman, then biology as sophomores, AP Chemistry as juniors, and then AP Biology as seniors, as a way to help prepare them for, you know, going into college, going into sciences there. The competencies do align with our department. As far as receiving college credit for, I know specifically for UNH, if they receive an AP score of 3, they get credit for one college chemistry course. If they get a 4 or a 5, it's actually 2 college chemistry courses. So it can be pretty significant. I did attend the AP Summer Training Institute where I was able to get a lot of hands-on activity, hands-on experience with some of the labs. Many of the labs in this course are open-ended, which I think really provides a really good learning atmosphere for these students and helping prepare them for a future, successful future in college. Questions?
The only thing I would add, monetarily, it's not huge. It's not, we can absorb it in our budget. We would probably rotate when we offer it every other year. And I'm just thrilled that we have a teacher that can teach it. Like, I'm really excited. We've wanted this for many years, and her skill set is phenomenal. So she's already gone to the summer. She's taken the summer seminar, and so now we just need to fill the class. So I guess that's all I have with that.
No, I'm thrilled too, because it seems like our AP offerings and registrations have probably declined over the years, and I've always been a big proponent of it. I think it's, you know, I think it's important we offer these for our real motivated kids, the high flyers that really want to push themselves. So I think that's great. I think the other courses were all very worthwhile as well. So thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you again. Next up is the 2022-23 district in Maple Street Magnet School calendars for second reading. Anybody have any comments on those, or?
We talked about last time that week of Veterans Day, Veterans Week in November, about maybe moving the early release from that Wednesday to Monday, only because of having 2 days of education in a row versus a full day of education, teachers workshop, early release, full day of education, day off. Just trying to look at the production. So I know we talked about last time, and I know if that's something that we can do.
So we did meet, we did have another calendar meeting with the area districts that all share the CTE. There is there's a law that actually is probably going to affect, I think it'll be 60 days from when they vote on it, will pass, that all districts have to be aligned if you share a CTE center. So that came up, and vacation was discussed again, because we had talked about vacation, and so these are the dates that they agreed on.
So there might be one district that wants to start playing nicer.
That might what?
They may have to be nice again, one
Yeah.
district in particular.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? Is there a motion to,
I move that we send this to the full board for reading and second reading and adoption. Is it second reading?
yeah,
Full
yeah.
board?
Is
Okay.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is a 5-year plan.
So we'll continue to bring different presentations to you each month. I know that there's a lot of, I think there's a misunderstanding in the community that we don't talk about curriculum instruction and assessment. This is the venue to do that, and we try to bring you something each month that addresses curriculum instruction and assessment. So next month, we'll have a couple elementary schools that will be here to share information on what they're doing in their schools.
Any public comment tonight? No? Any other? No? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.